Hey everybody, welcome back. We are finally here to unbox the Benchmade Narrows, model number 748 from Benchmade Knife Company. So let's see what is in the box. You get this beautiful, beautiful microfiber bag. Gotta love these, keep them around your glasses, any sort of things. You need to clean off those blades. Your use and care manual from Benchmade, also your Life Sharp warranty. Keep that around for life. So what's inside the bag? Okay, now we do have a little Axis lock tag here. Kind of gives you some information on that. Now, what they have described in this beautiful knife is the Axis lock has actually been updated, and they call it the new lock stud torsion spring is inside. So they got rid of the Omega springs and they got rid of the steel liners. So that is one update on this knife. Let's try it. Oof, look at that. Just solid goodness. You got titanium, you got M390. Now, you got a drop point blade. But the question is, what do you think overall? Now, I know price has been one thing. I will say, this you can operate just by pulling this little lock bar back. The torsion spring, it makes it just super fidgety. I have to say, overall in the hand, I have a large glove size hand, fully clenched down. It kind of disappears. You don't have a lot of bulk. It is super, super thin. Now, they say it's 33% narrower than the Bug Out. We're going to compare it to a lot of knives on the table here in just a minute or two, but the Bug Out is one of them. So overall, this is the Benchmade Narrows. Full retail pricing on this one, $580. A lot of your stores kicking it off for about $522. You have all the beautiful, beautiful sapphire PVD coated hardware, pivot, thumb studs, barrel spacers, pocket clip, and all your screw hardware. Now you do have the titanium handles, which are pretty awesome. And you can see there's not much in there. Super, super thin blade stock. Blade stock itself. Now the knife, 0.28 inches thick. Super, super skinny. Now your blade length on this one, 3.44 inches. Your overall length, 8.02 inches. And close, you're looking at 4.5 inches. And the weight, 2.4 ounces overall. So, what do we think? I want your honest opinion as a knife. Don't include the price in your first comment. We'll talk about the price in a minute when we look at some of these other beautiful knives. But just the details that they put into this, pretty cool, pretty decent. I like the pivot details. Those are pretty rad. Now, let's get into the handles. The titanium handles on this one, they're milled out. They almost have like that reverse milling look. You would expect this to be on the inside. Kind of that milled out, a little bit for, you know, weight reduction. We all love a little weight reduction in our lives. Now, they do offer the pocket clip reversible, tip up, right or left-handed carry. I like the contrast. I like the contrast. You know I'm a fan of the blues, so the blue thumb studs, the blue hardware, the clip, all that. Sapphire PVD coating. It's pretty awesome. Now, I have used this one for a couple weeks, so shout out to Benchmade for getting this one out. Fell in love with it at SHOT Show. They were like, we want you to check it out. Give your honest opinion. It is awesome. It's a great slicer, super lightweight, and in titanium. So normally you pick up titanium and you're like, those are titanium scales. They're very heavy. These are lightweight. The new design they've done with the Axis lock, that torsion spring, oof. And a lock stud. We're going to have to pull one apart, so look forward to a future video. So we'll void the warranty. But I like the little details, like the little ramping here on the lock bar. Each side, you can see it kind of wings out a little bit. So you get a really good grip on it with it being so narrow. And that's what makes it so fidgety. You know, you can just sit here and do this all day. I hope they've stocked up and tested that torsion bar to make sure we get some overall goodness with it. But let me know down in the comments pricing-wise now. You know, we've talked about the materials, M390, the titanium, PVD-coated hardware, pricing. Now, let's compare it to some other USA-made knives that we have lined up here. We talked about the bug out. So we got the Benchmade bug out. They said it's 33% thinner. So that's your bug out. That's your narrows. Let's see how thin it actually is. So look at the thinness on that. So you can see overall, definitely thinner. Blade length is just a little longer on the narrows, but overall some pretty good specs on that. Super lightweight. Like I said, fell in love with it at SHOT Show, and to me it's one of those like cool additions. Now price wise, I have to be honest, Benchmade was doing some questionnaires at SHOT Show about pricing on this one, and I had to say needs to be in that like $350 to $450 range in my personal opinion. However, we also have a knife that it kind of gets compared to so far out of the box, and that is the Benchmade Anthem. One piece titanium integral knife. Of course, I upgraded the pocket clip to a titanium one. I don't have the milled one on there anymore. But to me, this is a really good comparison. More contour than the Anthem. The narrows is much thinner, of course. Let's take a look at the thick-thin comparison. You can see the big difference on that one. But this is one that really a lot of people are comparing it to. So side-by-side look, I think overall you get your heft, your thickness out of the Anthem here on the left side. The narrows just comes in and is like, hey, we're the new lightweight fit model, right? They're going for that awesomeness. So I want to compare it with a few knives that are out there right now. This is the Benchmade tagged out, upgraded with those Flytanium G10 scales. Perfect. They are putting out, Benchmade is, some thumb stud models, some upgraded ones this year, so we'll look forward to those. But you can see blade shape wise, you're almost getting that same blade shape just a little bit. You got a little bit different grind to it, but overall, that's a comparison of the tagged out. And we'll see how thick this is. This one's not a super good comparison because these G10 scales do seem a little bit thicker than the stock Grivory. But you can see thickness of the blade, very comparable. You know, the tagged out came in really lightweight, almost has a similar handle pattern. Let me get my fingers out of there. But you can see the handle shape and design almost the same. So maybe there was a little inspiration there, not sure. But let's take a look at the Spyderco Para Military 2, the PM2. And overall, this one kind of surprised me. I was thinking the narrows was going to be smaller. However, it's holding up with a PM2. So you start to look at it and you're like, okay, size-wise, it's a pretty decent size. Now, hopefully you're able to go to your dealer. Hopefully you're able to go to one of the blade shows and get hands-on with the narrows so you can really make an informed decision and really consider, is this for me? You know? I think overall, it's a great knife for my collection. I think it's really great for those of you that love titanium or love M390. You're going to love the overall, you know, thinness, lightweight, easy to carry feature. There's the thickness comparison on the PM2. Now, we have a couple that I've saved for last. There's actually 3 more real quick. But we have the Benchmade 940. Now, this is one of their limited edition models they put out in the beautiful titanium handles, very thick titanium handles. But I want to give it a comparison. How does it compare? Obviously, the narrows handle is going to be a lot taller. The blade's going to be a lot taller, thinner, slicier than a 940. I know the 940 is more of a almost a tool for me. I don't know for many others, but you can see the blade thickness comparison and the handle thickness comparison there as well. Obviously much thinner than narrows. That's what they're going for. But overall, I'm still a fan of the 940, you know, so you can't kick that one out of first place for me. But I have 2 others in comparison. Leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts on this one. Let me know if there's a comparison you want to see. I will add those to my upcoming live streams. But we have a mini Crooked River. That was another one that I wanted to really compare it to. Get a little bit longer handle, blade's just about comparable, maybe a smidge longer on the narrows. There's your thickness comparison to them. There's your blade length comparison, so just a smidge difference. When you look at it this way, looks a little bit longer, but pretty darn close. I mean, maybe 1/8 of an inch or something. Handle design, you know, it's looking familiar. It's looking familiar, but obviously really thinned out in comparison. And last but not least, I wanted to go with a bigger knife from the Benchmade collection, and that is going to be the Griptilian. We all love our Griptilians. Most of us do. But this one, kind of one of their tricked out models. Of course, blue accents, the Damasteel, kind of that black washed handle of their G10. So you can see Griptilian wise, it's going to be pretty comparable to the Griptilian. You get a little bit more here. Blade length almost exactly the same. So maybe some inspiration out of that as well. I almost forgot. They did not forget about the lanyard fans no matter what. So that is pretty righteous. You got to give them credit for that. But overall, here's your comparison with the Griptilian. So maybe there's some, you know, really familiar lines on the blade grinds and the shape for the Griptilian. Now, a narrows with a thumb hole. I don't know. Pushing it up. But you can see, obviously, Griptilian-wise, much thicker of a blade. The narrows gets its name from being skinny, right? Being skinny, and I really like what they've done with the access lock and kind of made it into that torsion spring lock stud combo. Got rid of the access Omega springs and got rid of the steel liners. So that's pretty cool. But overall, I wanted to give you a first look, and I will give you my first impressions of carrying this knife. It has been useful. It's been very slicey. It's been lightweight. Kind of disappears when you're carrying it for the most part. One of the things you are going to experience with titanium, you will get some snail trails on it, things like that. But that kind of adds to the character. Overall, I think my ideas would be a little bit different design on the scales, maybe. A little bit lower in price. And maybe, you know, you're going for a very clean look. Maybe take the Benchmade website off of there. Just put M390. Or maybe squeeze it on the spine of the blade. I don't know. Or put it, you know, more vertical to the blade here. Just kind of some ideas. Of course, I love the sapphire blue PVD coating on everything. The thumb studs as well. They are a little shorter than your standard Benchmade thumb studs. We'll do a little comparison here. These are the bug out standard ones, so you can see the difference in thumb studs there. They're a little bit shorter, a little more narrow. I dig it. Super fidgety. A new favorite for me, definitely for sure. Let me know down in the comments. Give some good feedback. I know we're going to hear a lot of feedback on the pricing. I think that was already out there for sure. But I want your overall opinion on the thinness of the knife, the design of the knife. And let me know what you think about their lock design. You know, I think I like it. I like the idea of a little bit of jimping on there. It's not rough at all, but it gives you enough grip so your finger and thumb do not slide off whatsoever. And I think you got plenty of blade to work with. And I like the idea that it's very comparable in my mind to like what you're going to be doing with, you know, some of the other knives. Slicey, thin. You're not looking to pry with them. But enough about this. Thank you for checking this out. If you stuck around to the end of the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment. But most importantly, hashtag DSKFS. Make sure to do something kind for someone. Have an awesome rest of your day. But most importantly, take care.